Welcome, everyone. My name is Dave McDonald. I'm the president of the Mediation Center of Hampton Roads. For the past decade, I've taught my cooperative co-parenting class probably 500 times. I've had thousands of parents in my office, either through mediation or through supervised visitations. And I'd frankly say that, that I've learned more from my clients and the participants in my class than I've taught them. In fact, some of them are here tonight. Early in my career, though, I recall I had particularly very difficult mediation. And like me, the father had two girls, and the mom in this case was doing everything that she could to keep the children away from the dad. And I'm not sure, I can't remember if we resolved it through mediation or it ended up in court. But in any event, about a few years later, I'm walking my dog in front of my house, and this dad pulls up on his bicycle as he is riding by, and he said, I was really disappointed you let the mother of my children pull the wool over your eyes like she did everyone in the system. He sped away on his bike, and I was left dumbfounded, maybe disappointed that I could have done more, although I was simply the facilitator of their divorce negotiations. This was really a aha moment for me, I must say. Most of us in the room never had parenting classes before having kids. We learned from our parents, siblings, grandparents, and nannies. Some were good, some were bad. This is where the Hampton Roads Parenting Education Network comes in. We are a group of professionals who teach a variety of parenting classes throughout Hampton Roads to better equip parents with the tools they will need to help produce productive, well-rounded, loving children. Michelle Tryon, the parent educator for CHKD and also the chair of the HR Pen, is here to provide you some more information on HR Pen. So. Thanks again, Michelle. And certainly thanks to CHKD and Sam Fabian that was here earlier, and my interns, Akia and Shlee and Rachel, and my wife Sharon that was outside too, and appreciate everybody to put this together. Just a little introduction to this. During his lifetime, Columbia University professor Richard Gardner wrote over 30 books. None were more widely read and controversial than The Parental Alienation Syndrome, which was published in 1992. I'm going to read the first paragraph of this book. I hope I'm not stealing your thunder here. First paragraph of his book, published in 1992. During the last 10 to 15 years, we have witnessed a burgeoning of the child custody disputes unparalleled in history. This increase has primarily been the result of two recent developments in the realm of child custody litigation, namely, replacement of the tender years presumption with the best interests of the child presumption, and the increasing popularity of joint custody agreements. In association with this burgeoning of litigation, we have witnessed a dramatic increase in the frequency of a disorder rarely seen previously, a disorder that I refer to as parental alienation syndrome. In this disorder, we see not only programming, and he puts in quotes, brainwashing, of the child by one parent to denigrate the other parent, but self-created contributions by the child in support of the preferred parent's campaign of denigration against the non-preferred parent. Because of the child's contribution, I did not consider the terms brainwashing, programming, or other equivalent words to be applicable. Accordingly, I introduced the term parental alienation syndrome to cover a combination of these two contributing factors. In the context of this disorder, I have more recently been seeing a rash of fabricated sex abuse allegations which may serve to an extremely effective weapon in these disputes. More recently, the American Psychiatric Association rebuffed an intensive lobbying campaign and decided not to list the disputed concept of parental alienation in the updated edition of its catalog of mental disorders. The debate rages for years over whether the phenomenon should be formally classified as a mental health disorder by the APA, as it updated its diagnostic and statistical manual for mental disorders for the first time since 1994. The new manual, known as DSM-5, made the decision against classifying parental alienation as a disorder or syndrome. The vice chair of the committee explained, quote, "It's a relationship problem, parent-child or parent-parent. Relationship problems per se are not mental disorders." The APA has come under intense pressure from individuals and groups who believe parental alienation is a serious mental condition that should be formally recognized in the DSM-5. They say that this step would lead to fairer outcomes in family courts and enable more children of divorce to get treatment so that they can reconcile with the estranged parent. This is definitely a controversial topic. Just yesterday, in fact, I was talking with Kim Phillips' husband before the talk. I provided information to this forum out to 5,000 of my neighbors on Nextdoor. This really struck a chord with one mother who had obviously been on one side or the other of the parental alienation and wanted me to remove this post as it was too hurtful to read. I had several others come to my defense and were glad that we were discussing this topic and now planned on coming. And I know some of you did come, thank you. Believe me, this has been a controversial subject amongst members of HR Penn, but finally, here we are. I'm about to introduce Victoria Holroyd, who will give us an overview of the problem and some insights. Following Dr. Holroyd's presentation, we'll hear from our panelists, which is Ben Solomonsky and Kim Phillips. In fact, but what I want to do first, though, is introduce Dr. Holroyd, and then she's going to give us some insights on the definitions, essentially, of parental alienation. Dr. Holroyd is an expert on parental alienation, as well as a relationship expert for families, couples, and individuals in crisis. Dr. Holroyd has over 20 years of experience as a psychotherapist treating divorce and blended families, extreme personality disorders, emotional and attachment issues, complex trauma, and chronic illness. As a clinical professor at State University of New York, Dr. Holroyd taught courses such as grief and loss, family and marriage counseling, and child and adolescent counseling. Dr. Holroyd.
Thanks, Dave.
To save a little bit of time, I'm going to introduce both of our panelists at the same time. And then afterwards, we're going to have time. Dr. Holroyd is going to offer some hope for the parents here and grandparents. And then we certainly want to address your questions and your comments, too. So I've known Ben for a long time. And Ben, I'd like to say that I used to shop at Solomonsky's Jewelers right up here on Colley Avenue, but I don't know that was...
I'm online and waiting for your money now.
All right, good. But an interesting part, and I've known Ben through our office and working with him and his family. Just a little background, though, I think, which is important to know. Ben attended Old Dominion University for his undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees in psychology. He also has a certification as a personal and executive coach. And one thing, Ben began his professional career as a mental health counselor on the psychiatric unit of Norfolk General Hospital and on the adolescent unit of Portsmouth Psychiatric Center. He states, and quote, Ben, I know you're going to repeat this, the term alienation was not in our lexicon in those days, but we had the term programmed child in our toolkit. This dysfunction is not new, but it still defies acceptance and recognition. Ben has one son who you're going to hear about, J.R. Solomonsky, who's now 20 years old. And it's interesting, Victoria, using some of your terminology, I pointed out to Ben, who was a victim of both obsessive parental alienation and the blind eye of the court. He struggles daily with the ill effects of alienation. And then also too, just didn't save some time, I wanted to give a little bit of background on Kim Phillips. And Kim, I appreciate you volunteering your time here. Kim is a family lawyer and a certified guardian ad litem, and last year was appointed as a substitute judge where she presides over contested custody cases. Again, after our panelists, we want to open the floor up to questions too. Ben?